Hello and welcome, I am Garion Reaver and this is the next battle in the Solland Uprising Warhammer Mighty Empires campaign. We are in round 2 and this is the next match between the forces of Solland Revivalists and Wissenland. This is a 2,000 point match, however, both armies have more than that. Wissenland has 2,100 and Solland has 2,070 because they purchased extra points in the campaign turn, which you can check out at the link in the description. This is also a slightly different scenario. Rather than doing a battle line, this is what is called a blood and glory scenario, which means the winner is decided not by going through all 6 turns and then seeing victory points at the end. It is about standards. There is the army fortitude, which is the general is worth 2, battle standard bearer is worth 1, and then any standard bearer in a unit is worth another 1. So they both have 6. So I thought this would be a pretty good one to try out that scenario. First, let's have a look at Solland. This is being led by Siegfried Trappenfeld, who is, I believe, the canonical leader of the Order of the Blazing Sun. He is a Grand Master, and he is also supported by Gervig Fischer, who is a fire battle wizard. He's from the Knights of the Blazing Sun. And then Captain Bruno Kral, who is the battle standard bearer, who has been recently promoted to fill the sudden horrific vacancies. And here is the rest of the army. As you can see, I'm sticking with the large blocks of infantry, which I think works very well in 8th edition. We have 2 massive blocks of spearmen, both with a banner. They're going to be hard to break. Knights of the Inner Circle, who are Knights of the Blazing Sun, who also have a banner. I have 3 units of crossbowmen, 2 of which are detachments, and then 2 units of outriders, who are sort of the upgrade on the pistoliers that I had before. And the logic of this army is Caster is sort of lacking the support of the nobility of Wissenland at the moment, which is why he's got outriders who are peasantry who've been elevated a bit, and a load of spearmen and crossbows from the peasantry, whereas it's the Knights of the Blazing Sun who really form the core of his army. Then over to the Wissenland army, it is again led by Helmut the Lucky, who led the previous one and came out completely unscathed, as his namesake would imply, supported by the metal wizard Hagen Marx, a battle standard bearer called Captain Ivo Werfel, and then an engineer called Reinhard Tannenbaum. Here is the rest of the army. It is, again, a lot of large block units, and all 3 of which have banners, along with the battle standard and the general for 6 on the Wissenland side as well. And while they don't have cavalry, they have now 3 war machines and some handgunners mixed in. They're really beginning to ramp up the support from Nuln in response to this uprising. These 3 at the back are the tight formations of the 3 units that have skirmish. And the board represents a major trade route through the Solland side of Wissenland, probably just south of Fieldorf. Fieldorf? Whatever the place is called. So rolling to pick, board edge blue is Solland. And Solland picks. So again, for convenience, they will go with this side. It also has a hill, which this side doesn't. So these are like wheat fields. They have no effect at all. And then we have a normal lake and a normal hill. This is a relatively simple battle with this bridge. I did think about having like a river through the middle, but no, I decided to go with a road instead. And then we have a couple of sections of wall. So they will go with the side they're on, and now we roll off to see who deploys first. Blue and red still the ones they are. It's a draw, roll again. And red, so Wissenland deploys first. And compared to a battle line, they have to deploy within this. They can't deploy within 9 inches of the edge of the narrow edges of the board. And let's start with Helmut's massive unit of halberdiers. So they're going to deploy right here, ready to take this barricade. And then their 2 detachments, we have the archers who are going to deploy, I think, here. And then the handgunners just behind. So I'm going to aim to move the archers as soon as possible. Just get them out the way so that we can shoot. I think the big block of spearmen are going to deploy. Oh, yeah. ready to face it. They're the ones with the battle standard bearer. Although I think I am going to shift it so that Bruno is at this end. So the red circles, I found out how to recolor them. The red circles are battle standard, the blue circles are inspiring presence. And their detachment, the crossbows, are going to go here. I think they're going to just sit just behind. The big block of spearmen are going to go on this side. You see, I was also very tempted to have this like going this way, like the road going across there, and then I could have like a unit battling underneath the bridge. I thought would be cool, but instead I've gone with it being like a flanking point. And their detachment is going to go here, because we are very, very quickly running out of deployment space. The spearmen are going to go on this side, ready to hold the barricade, because they're a little bit weaker as a unit, a bit smaller. And their crossbows are similarly going just behind. Hopefully there is space for this unit of halberdiers over at this edge. There is not quite space. That sucks. There, I've rebuilt them as a 5-wide unit, which can now fit. Put them right up alongside these. And then they also have a detachment of handgunners who are going to have to go directly behind because there isn't really space for them anywhere else. The knights are going to set up here, ready to charge across this ground quite easily. And apparently war machines are supposed to deploy all at once. So when I deploy one of these, you know, they're all deployed instead. So I will do that. Cannon, I think, over here, ready to take on the knights as they charge. The mortar, see if I can just fit that in behind here. I mean, it's the crewmen aren't really relevant. They're just sort of there as representatives. So the mortar there. And then the Hellblaster volley gun, which is my favourite piece of siege weaponry for the Empire. I think I'll put that there so it can fire to either side, theoretically, but that may be a mistake. Crossbows I'm going to put here, and I'm going to face them that way, because they're going to, the first thing they're going to do is sort of march straight up onto the hill and turn so that they have a nice commanding view. And apparently characters are also considered like one. You deploy them last, like lone characters are deployed last, and again, all lone characters are deployed as a collective. I should have rolled magic. I'll do that now. I haven't deployed either, so I'll do that right now. Hagen is a 2nd level metal wizard. Enchanted Blades of Iban. +1 to hit, armor piercing. That sounds pretty good. I will keep that. And then I can always swap the other one for Searing Doom if I want to. And it is Transmutation of Lead, -1. Not quite as good as Plague of Rust. No, I think I'll go with Searing Doom because that's going to be really useful against the Knights. Gervig is also a 2nd level wizard. Burning Head, direct damage spell. By the way, this spell is hilariously fun in Total Warhammer. That is actually probably really good. Yeah, definitely taking that one because that's going to be amazing against big blocks of infantry. And the second one, Flaming Sword. You see, the way fire works is you get like an extra D3 to the casting total if you're hitting something that's already been hit in the same turn. So because of that, I don't think I want an augment. I think I will replace that one with Fireball and then let him just firebomb the enemy repeatedly, and he can focus like one unit at a time and therefore get increases to his chances of succeeding. But as I was, Hagen is going to go right here. He's going to hide behind there, and that'll hopefully protect him from shooting. Whereas Tannenbaum, he is going to go with the Hellblaster, because that is the one most likely to go wrong. The Outriders, I've sort of run out of space to put these, so I'm going to have to put that one there. And then the Huntsmen have Scouts, so they get deployed last. So officially Wissenland has finished deploying. The other unit of Outriders, I think I will put them up at this end, and also, if I turn them slightly, can I fit them in? I'm going to fit them in there. So the idea is that they are going to... Oh, they're sort of overlapping, aren't they? I don't subscribe to the... I mentioned before, I don't subscribe to the 1-inch rule between friendlies, but I do with enemies for the most part. So, yeah, the idea is the Knights will charge forward and then the Outriders will go round. And then last on this side is Gervig. He's going to be doing a lot of shooting, a lot of magical shooting. So I think I'm going to put him... I'm actually going to... No, I'm going to put him here. Oh, he's just going to get shot, isn't he? Yeah, I'm going to put him here then. I'm going to follow their rule, follow their advice, and just have the two wizards cowering on either side of this bridge, which cannot be garrisoned or anything like that, by the way. And then finally the huntsmen, I'm just going to deploy those here. So, like, they've just got to be 12 away from the enemy, so if I just deploy them there, they should be able to shoot pretty much straight away, and still not be... Like, this isn't a particularly good location for the huntsmen. It's quite an open place for the battle, but they should still be able to do a little bit from there. And now the roll to see who goes first, with red getting +1 because they finished deploying first. It's a tie, and yeah, normally red would get a +1, but if they both roll 6s, I just re-roll it. Nope, definitely blues. They got a 6. So Solland decides if they go first or second, and they are going to go first, because they may be able to get a charge off. Actually, is that a rule? Hang on. There are no rules saying you cannot charge in the first turn if you start the game on the board. Like, reinforcements who come on generally can't charge, but the knights probably can in this turn, which means we are in Solland Turn 1. So just to clarify how the victory conditions work, it is based on fortitude, which is a total of the general, battle standards, and standard bearers in units. General's worth 2, the others are all worth 1 each. Both armies have a total of 6. If this is reduced to 1 per 1,000 points of the army, then it is instantly broken. So normally for a 2,000 point battle that would mean 2. But fractions are rounded up, and both armies are actually over 2,000. I've just realised this. So it's the first one reduced to 3. So that means all 3 standards, or the general and the battle standard, or the general and 1 standard, etc., they will break. This is not a battle to the death. Regarding how to calculate the narrow, solid, and massacre victories, because again, they're not really a thing in 8th edition, I'm going to calculate the victory points and still have victory points to decide the gap, but whoever breaks the army's fortitude first sort of increases it by 1. So say they get a solid victory from the victory points and they're the ones who broke it, they increase it to a massacre. Likewise, if they manage to break the army but somehow lose on the victory points, they will still bring it up to a draw. So it's basically just a +1 to their victory. So let us actually begin. First of all, it is the Solland movement phase, and we are probably going to open with a charge. 20, that is actually just outside charging range, because they have a movement of 7, so they'd need to roll a 13, which even with Swift Stride is not possible. First of all, these spearmen are going to move 4 up to here, and then they're going to march so that they're garrisoning the barricade. These spearmen are also moving 4 forward and then marching another 4. The knights are going to move forward probably only 7. They're not going to march just because they want to make sure they get the charge off. Also, funny thing, the model that the mod has used for the Grand Master is actually the Theoden model from the Lord of the Rings, which, very nice model. I have no idea why they used it here. The crossbows are going to move 2 up to there, and then 1, 2, and then they're going to march. They won't be shooting, but 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Outriders are going to rotate 1 and then move, I think, 7 forward, and they should be able to do some shooting, I think. They've got a range of 24, so they have a much longer range, and now they're within half. Crossbows are going to rotate 2 and then move 2. And because there's no reason not to march, they're going to rotate a bit more and then move like half this way and then a bit more forward. These crossbows are going to rotate first and then move... Oh. And then move... No, come on, pick up the unit. And then move forward 3. Crossbows can never shoot after moving. Even with the minuses, they just don't get the options. They're going to move again to there. And these Outriders are going to turn 1 and then go 7. Can they fit out there? Probably not. So they're going to have to move 1 to the side. And then another 3 forward. And then they've got 4 inches of movement. 1, 2, 3. And the unit is messed up. There. I will fix this. There we go. And that is... Oh, no, not quite all the movement. Gervig is going to move to there, so hopefully he can see something. Yeah, I'd say he can see past there and over the terrain. Magic. This is probably going to be a relatively low magic battle, 5 and 4, because there's only 1 wizard on each side, whereas normally we have 2, so channeling Wissenland. Channeling Solland. Nope. Fireball is quite a scalable spell. I can't use Burning Head, I don't think. Then again, actually I might be able to. Like, I'm picturing Burning Head in Total Warhammer, it's more like a vortex. But in this, it is just a straight line, rules as written. So can I draw a straight line if I change this to center? Can I draw? I can. I can draw a straight line to that unit without hitting my own. It's a bit short range, so I'm going to have to upcast it and use 3 dice on a 13. And he gets +2 from his level. Oh, 8, even with the +2 is 10. That would have been enough to cast it basically, but broken concentration. He didn't meet the minimum. He can't cast any more spells this turn. That sucks. Shooting. The crossbows all moved, so none of them can shoot. But the Outriders, I believe, can. No, they cannot. They all have move or fire, which I didn't notice before I moved them. So they moved, they can't fire. Welp. I guess that is the end of Solland Turn 1 and Wissenland Turn 1. The massive block of halberdiers is going to move up to garrison. Massive block of spearmen are going to move 4 inches, and I think they might actually be within the 8 inches now. They are not. Although, no, they are not. But I don't want to march because it'll put them... Oh no, I do want to march because I'd rather pull them out of cover if I can. Otherwise, I will guarantee the charge next turn. The big unit of halberdiers here are going to move up 4. Actually, are they within charging? I didn't actually check. A 7? They might actually be in a good position to charge. I should have done that first, but oh well. Yeah, although they do have ranged weapons, the ones they have are slow to fire, meaning they can't be used in a standard shoot. So, yeah, I will try and charge. So rounded up to 11, they need a 7 to charge, which they do not get. Alright, well, they just move forward 6 inches, which is probably further than they would have gone anyway, so slightly rotated, but yeah, that's still not terrible. That hasn't drawn them significantly out of position. The crossbow, the handguns, I'm going to move as far as possible this way. So they're going to march and just move 4 inches directly sideways, because moving sideways is half movement. And these handgunners are going to move forward 2, and then move horizontally 1. And Hagen, he is going to move to here, so that he can see the spearmen. Mostly jostling around, trying to get good positions for the battle that's about to come. This is going to be an incredibly bloody affair as soon as they start clashing. Because it's like, it feels really tight with these massive units and the fact that they had to start 9 inches in. Magic! Oh, that's poor. 2. There may be no spells. No channeling on Wissenland, and... Oh, okay. Channeling on that side. So, can he cast anything with 2? He's going to cast the Blades of Iban on the halberdiers. So he needs a 9. A 9 on 2. I mean, he gets a +2, but still. He actually gets it. He gets a total of 10. Try and dispel that with 2 as well. Which he does succeed. So no magic at all. Completely unmagical first couple of turns. Or first turn, I suppose. But there will be shooting. I will just move from one side to the other. So the archers who haven't moved are going to shoot at the knights. Not much chance of succeeding, but still. They're all at long range, but there are 10 of them. 1 hit. a wound though. The knights have an armor save of 1+, but a 1 is always a failure, so it's effectively a 2+, which they succeed. I didn't hold much hope for that. The cannon, can't see, definitely not, because I ruled that cannons have to sort of go straight through, whereas mortars can go over. The volley gun, oh, that is a very narrow gap, but they can technically shoot through. It's debatable whether I should really allow that. I guess logically it wouldn't make much sense to shoot through that tiny gap. These archers, some of them can probably shoot the outriders. By my count, 8 can see and are in range, only this one and this one can't. They are at long range, but still got 5 hits. 2 wounds. They do get an armor save. And they pass one, fail another. That is an outrider dead. First casualty of the game. The mortar... oh, I'd say cannot actually see... can it see those? Is that a person? It is a person. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to say that they can shoot that. Because the mortar again fires over, it doesn't need the direct line of sight that both the volley gun and the cannon in my mind do. So I will say that it can shoot at this crossbowman. Yeah, I'd say that's fine. Rolling scatter. And it's immediately a misfire. And the result is a malfunction. Cannot fire this turn or next turn. Got off easy. The handgunners are move or fire, but the huntsmen have not moved and can fire. These 4 are within short range, including the champion, so I'll do the champion first. That's a hit. The other 3 at short range, 2 more hits, and the 6 at long range, 1 more hit, so a total of 4. I have succeeded in breaking the dice roller by accidentally deleting one of the dice as it was rolling it. Okie dokie. Try again. 1 wound. Failed the save, 1 kill. Same unit has already got shot, but that is not quite a quarter. And with no combat, we go into Solland Turn 2. Time to charge. The knights are ready for this. So they are... that's 13 they need to go. They have a movement of 7. Also, I've noticed that the decal messes up with the the movement a bit, the measuring thing a little. But that's fine. They have Swift Stride, meaning they roll 3 dice and can use the 2 highest, and they need a 6. Which they fail! Oh no! That is really bad for them. Especially as they get a stand and shoot reaction. So yeah, they're just going to get shot as they trot forward 6 inches. Oh, failing by 1. That's so embarrassing for them. Oh, I suppose embarrassing is the wrong word. Annoying, awkward, frustrating. 10 shots at long range. 1 hit. No wound. Do I want to charge this barricade? What effect it will have is that they will have a -1 to hit in the first round of combat. Oh, sorry. Turns out I got a rule wrong last time. I stopped the spears from getting an extra rank when they were charged, because that's what the sheet I'm using says. But the rules say you don't get the spear when you charge, which is a subtle distinction, but a really, really important one. So, whoops. I'll know that for the next time. Alright, they're not going to charge, but they are going to move forward just to there, to try and tempt them to charge and therefore lose the thing, but also give them their extra rank when they're defending. Similarly, these aren't charging. They want to defend the barrier against the larger unit of spearmen, but the crossbows are going to move forward to there and then rotate twice and hopefully shoot next turn. I feel I've misplayed with those crossbows, but up at these end, these guys are going to do very well, I think. Magic! Oh, God, it's just no magic here. There is just no magic in this place at all. Wissenland, nope. Solland, nope. Okay, 3. I think I'm best off just using a fireball against these guys. They're easily within range. If I slightly upcast it, it becomes a 10, which is quite doable on 3 dice, and I can do as much as 12 hits. So 3, and then he's got his extra +2 for his level. 11, 13. Try and dispel on 2. 12 total. So yeah, that passes. First spell of the game. So it does 2d6, strength 4 hits. 6 hits. 4 wounds. They do have a pitiful save, which they all fail. 4 dead. That's the first Wissenland dead. Shooting. This one is going to be a lot more eventful than the last one. Again, I'll just move down the line for simplicity. Outriders. I think they're all going to open on the halberdiers, because the halberdiers don't have shields or anything, and huntsmen are skirmishers, and they're therefore harder to hit in ranged. Yep, they're all within the front arc, so they can all open up. The Outriders have not moved. They're all within short range, and it is a multiple shots 3, so they are shooting 24 shots. Champion first, 1 hit, and then 21 more shots, 5 hits, 3 more. 9 hits, 8 wounds. That is devastating. As they're halberdiers, they don't have shields, and the high strength just goes straight through their armor. That's 8 dead. It's a unit of 40, so they're not at the 25%, but already I much prefer these to the pistoliers. Just the longer range means they don't need to be directly in front of the enemy in order to shoot them reasonably. Sadly, these crossbows can't shoot because they moved, otherwise I'd probably be able to get them under the 25%. So moving along are these guys. They're going to have to shoot at the archers. Believe it or not, all 10 can actually draw line of fire between the 2 units within range. So all 10 get to shoot. They are at long range, but that's still 6 hits. Oh, hang on. They're shooting archers, so they've got a -1 to hit from that as well, which means it would only be 3 hits. Glad I caught that. And 3 wounds, though, because of the high strength of the shots. 3 archers dead, which is over the 25% they need to test. They are within 3 inches, so they can use these, but they're also within helmet's range, so they're testing on a 9. And they fail! Oh, no, and they flee. 12. Yikes, that is going to be devastating for the battle line. They're a detachment, but as far as I can tell, detachments do trigger panic tests. So, this unit, and maybe not that one? Not that one. So it is just the handgunners and the halberdiers who are going to have to test. Then again, the cannon will also have to test, as the archers just run straight off the board. So all 3 of these are testing for panic. I will start with the big unit. No, I should leave that one for last. Start with the cannon. Testing on a 7. They pass. Handgunners testing on a 7. They fail. Oh no. Are they on a 9? No, they're not. They're outside. Yeah, they do fail. So they also break and flee 4 inches, which might still be off the board. So they flee from the most numerous unit they can see, I think. Or, oh no, it's the closest. So yes, directly away. So 4 inches that way, which does put them on there. And they flee off the board as well. Oh no! But at least they're intact. You know, the 17 men have just fled the board. Oh, sorry, 18 men. Didn't see that was an 11th. 18 men have just fled the board in relatively good health. And now this big unit, which is testing on a 9. But they actually roll 3 because they've got helmet in the unit. So they roll 3 dice and use the lowest 2, which is very lucky because otherwise they would have failed. Yikes! It could have just, like, that one little bit of shooting could have wiped out this entire side. But no, they do just pass. However, that sort of removes what they were going to shoot at, because that's now out of range. So the Outriders and the crossbows have no one to shoot anymore. Can the crossbows see over there? I mean, they can sort of see over. I'm going to say not. I'm going to say the knights are too big. You know, I didn't let the Hellblaster shoot through a tiny gap, so it doesn't seem right to let the crossbows shoot through a tiny gap either. So, there we are. There is no combat, so we go into Wissenland Turn 2. That was quite devastating. The spearmen are going to immediately charge. They are definitely within the minimum, so they are going to just charge up to there. These halberdiers are going to charge the Outriders, who are going to use a flee reaction. So they can't stand and shoot because of their guns being slow to fire, but they can do a flee and then hopefully rally again. So they may be just lost now, but first I will have to roll the charge. 6 inches, so total of 10. They are 5 away, So if the Outriders can flee at least 5 with Swift Stride, so they get to roll 3 dice, then they have escaped them. They have easily escaped them. They rolled 11. So let's see if they are still on the board. So they move 11 up this way, and I think they're going to have to test difficult terrain for the lake as they move, I believe, just the charge 6. There are no pond or lake rules in 8th edition. Like, there are marshland rules. This just says normal lake, no additional rules. That doesn't help. I'm going to assume this is difficult terrain for cavalry, because I believe anything is, but no, it's not, is it? You can still move. They're fleeing, though, so it would count as difficult terrain, I think. So I'm going to say it's just a pond. There's nothing to it other than, difficult terrain if you march through or anything like that. So the ones that have stepped in, which are 4 of them, are going to have to take a dangerous terrain. They're all fine. I am going to move this detachment forward and then march them, because they have not been able to do much yet. And I think I will also move these handgunners in the same way. I'll move them 8. Like, we're pushing forward on this side, they're pushing forward on that side, so them being far back on this side doesn't help. The Huntsmen, I think... Oh, are they within range to shoot still? They are, but barely. That one... Yeah, they're just going to stay there. They're just going to keep shooting, I think. This side, the question is, do I want to charge out of cover? I feel like they're going to get flank charged regardless. Yeah. So they may end up just taking a charge either way, but they're going to hold the barrier. Helmut is counting on being lucky. Magic! Oh, finally, a high magic turn, 11. Channeling Wissenland. Nope. Channeling Solland. Nope. Yeah, I've just noticed something. A discrepancy. Like, I'm using a site called New Recruit to build my lists, and it's a fantastic website. It's generally really, really good. It makes some really stupid mistakes sometimes. And in this case, the mistake it's made is it has told me that I had a unit of 50 spearmen and a unit of 40 spearmen. I did not purchase those. I purchased a unit of 40 and a unit of 30. And it's because the 50 spearmen, it's like, well, you've got 40 spearmen and then 10 crossbows because they're a detachment. So I have got 10 spearmen more than I should have here, and 10 more than I should have there, and presumably that means I have more halberdiers and stuff. So I don't know if I've made this mistake in previous battles or not. It's entirely possible that I accidentally gave myself a lot more men, which might explain why the units seem so huge for the Empire side. Oh god, this is a massive error. And I completely blame the website. Yeah, it's the same on the other side. Although, this is why it's confusing me. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a complaint about this. The thing that's confusing me is that for the halberdiers, I bought 50 halberdiers, 10 archers, and 10 handgunners. So, although both the archers and the handgunners are detachments for the big unit of halberdiers, the way it calculates it is so bizarre. It's so I'm so confused. I'm gonna remove 10 from the ones that should not have 10 extras, and I'm just gonna delete them. They're not gonna count as dead. Yet weirdly, this 40 is correct because they had these halberdiers had handgunners as their detachment, and for some reason it doesn't count handgunners as part of the unit. It's so strange. See, this is why it was so difficult for me to notice. Yeah, and I need to get rid of 10 spearmen as well. 10 out of this spearman, and literally just the back row of these spearmen as well, because that's supposed to only be 30. Wow, that is a devastating... Like, I've noticed it before on using this, like the way it translates it into an army list sheet can be a bit buggy sometimes, but I didn't realise it was that bad. So, sincere apologies about that. Not my fault at all, but I'm apologising anyway. And that is something I will look out for in the future. So hopefully that didn't tip the balance of previous Empire games, which it very well might have. Damn, I should have moved Hagen over here so that he could support these spearmen. Oh well, I guess I'll just go with the halberdiers for an IBAN. 9 on 4 dice. Oh wow, that is the highest I could possibly have rolled without going irresistible. Total of 23. And I think they're going to use all of their dice to try and dispel it, which they may still fail. yeah, they failed by 1. They only got a max of 20. So they have a +1 to hit, and all of their hits are armor piercing. And the reason they used all of their things to dispel is the only thing you can still do is a Searing Doom on these guys, and they only have like an armor of 5, so it's only a 5+ to wound. Due to the metal shifting rule, because the strength of metal magic is determined by the armor save, and they only have an armor save of 5. Is he going to try? Oh, no, he's not going to put in 6 dice, but he's going for the upcast, so 20 is what he needs, and he did not get it. Yeah, he got 18. That's okay. Better that than irresistible. Shooting. Let's start with the cannon. The cannon that is directly in front of the knights. He's going to aim there because it will bounce. And then we roll artillery to see how far it goes, and it bounces 6 inches from here to here, and then 6 inches beyond is 19, which is just about there, which is not very far. So it is only going to hit 1 knight. Oh no, sorry, that's where it actually lands. It overshoots, and then it will bounce. So you roll again to see where it lands. Oh, it's a misfire. But I think a misfire means it doesn't bounce at this stage. It's not that it breaks the cannon, it just means it only hits the first person. And here it's actually the champion who's been hit. And in these situations you roll a lookout, sir. So on a 1, this is something I often forget to do. On a 1, the champion is still hit, but on 2 to 6, a normal person's hit instead. So just does it, but a normal knight takes the hit. And it's the same with characters as well, they get a lookout, sir. Hellblaster still can't shoot. Oh, hang on, I forgot about Reinhard Tannenbaum. He's got a ranged weapon. He's wielding a Hochland long rifle, which has a range of 36, and I'm inclined to say that he can shoot through that gap, as it's a single, like, a sniper sort of weapon. Can he get a line on it that doesn't go over his base? Oh, no, he cannot. No, it goes over either, ironically, Helmut's base or Hagen's base. There's no quite clean shot through there just because of how he happens to be positioned. That's okay, that's fine. I think these guys marched. These guys moved. The mortar can't fire, but these guys can, so they're going to shoot at the outriders. Champion. Miss. Other 9. 3 hits. 1 wound. No save. 1 dead. And then combat with this big fight in the middle, which is considerably smaller than it was at the start of the turn, but that's because of, rules and stuff. So they, the spearmen on the Wissenland side are, also they do actually have a Norn banner, just by coincidence. I mean, so do they, but that's irrelevant. So they are the chargers, which means they do get the +1, but they also have -1 to hit because they are charging and fighting over the wall. That is only a thing for the first turn. Ivo will challenge, which will be accepted, so I'll move Ivo. 3 attacks reduced by the wall, so only 1 hit, and no wound. 2 attacks in return, 1 hit, and a wound, but it's saved. And it's 2 units of spearmen, so obviously they have the same initiative. I will do the defenders first, and it is 29 attacks, all of them can fight. 9 hits, total of 15. Only 5 wounds, that's quite poor. 2 saves, 3 dead. Whereas they get 30 back, the difference being their champion can fight and he gets 2 attacks. And they don't get this extra rank because as spearmen on the charge, they don't get to use their spears. However, as they're fighting over a wall, they have a -1 to hit. 6, total of 11. And 7 wounds, they actually wounded more. 3 saves, 4 dead. With the rank bonus, and yeah, everything else is the same, so the attackers win by 2, Wissenland. So they're testing on 5, but they are within range of Bruno, so they will get to reroll it probably when they fail. So testing on a 5, they fail, reroll because of the standard bearer, and they fail again. Oh no! So they flee, 6, and are pursued 2, so they do escape. However, Gervig is going to need to test, and so are the crossbows. So they flee 6, which is to there. And they pursue 2, which is there. And it is getting broken up by being on the wall. Oh well. Gervig testing on a 6. Passes. Handgunners or crossbow, testing on a 7. Gervig tested, and so did they, but they failed. So the crossbow are going to flee. So they're going to flee 7 inches away from the nearest enemy, which puts them there. So we now have 3 fleeing units. So in the same way that they've sort of smashed into this, but they've still got the big block, they've smashed into this, and there is no big block anymore. Oh, and the moment they start to flee, that is 1 banner gone. So their fortitude is now reduced to 5. And it's all contained within these 2 units, because they've got their standard and the general, and then they've got their standard and the standard bearer. Solland Turn 3. I think they're going to do a 1-2 punch here. So they are going to, first of all, charge the front with their massive block of spearmen. They are within the minimum. They were unable to provoke them into coming out, and they have let them get a bonus now. But these guys are also going to charge into their flank. They are also within their minimum because of the... Oh no, they get a free rotate. They get a free 90-degree rotation. So I'm going to say they don't need to test for dangerous terrain, because they can go up to here and then pivot all the way round and crash into the flank without needing to actually cross the wall. So they're fine in that regard. So that is a double charge here, and they will get impact hits due to my homebrew cavalry charging rule. And now I need to see if these guys rally, because I think those are all of my charges. So let's go with the Outriders first. On a 7, they fail. So they continue to flee. Okay, well, I forgot to roll the 3rd, but I don't need to. They rolled literally the highest they could and immediately flee off the board. Worthless. Why did I hire them? Crossbows testing on a 7. Fail as well. They continue to flee 10 inches. And they, surprise, surprise, pick it up, flee off the board. And then the big unit of spearmen on a 7, they succeed. So they are going to reform, and I'm actually going to change their formation quite considerably. I'm going to make them a lot narrower, because the idea of a spearman horde only works if you have enough ranks to make use of the horde, which, they don't. Like so. So they are now much better equipped to try and counterattack. These crossbows are going to reform and face that way. These Outriders are just going to outride... Ooh, yeah, let's go with full 16 inches down to there. And these crossbows suddenly feel like absolute lemons. So I guess I'm going to march them down to there. And Gervig, he's gonna stay there and try and do something... No, he's going to move back a bit. That would be insanity to stay right there. Move back a bit so he's outside of easy charging range. They were not going to be able to charge him. They can't fit through the gap. But he will be able to attack them with impunity. Speaking of which, magic. 9. Channeling Wissenland. Channeling Solland. Nope. Let's start with a burning head on 4. I need 10, which I get. 15 total. And this is probably less threatening than the fireball, because he's still got 5 dice, so he could potentially do a max upcast fireball. Oh no, but this could trigger a panic test. Yeah, he's going to try and dispel this one, so 5 to try and dispel this one. He needed a 15 to dispel it, and he got a 16, so he did actually succeed. And then Gervig's going to use 4 for a mid-upcast fireball, which succeeds. No dispel dice left, except Hagen is carrying a dispel scroll, which means if it's not an irresistible force spell, it's dispelled. So 1 use thing, so he now loses his scroll, but it means that the fireball does not connect. And considering how quickly this battle is moving, I think that's a valid use of it, even sort of relatively early. Shooting. They moved, they moved, they moved, and that is it. So there is no shooting. But we do have this massive combat in the middle. First of all, impact hits before we do anything like challenges. So my impact hit rule is 1 per model at the mount strength, and +1 strength for each full rank. So there's +1, so they're hitting 5 impact hits at strength 4. And if that cannon hadn't taken off the last guy, then it would have been at strength 5, which would have been cool. And that's 5 wounds. They're halberdiers, so that's just 5 wounds, 5 dead. And Siegfried is going to challenge, because he has a lot of honor to uphold here, and Helmut has already previously beaten his allied forces. Helmut, feeling incredibly lucky as he always does, will accept the challenge. Unfortunately for him, Siegfried is not fighting over the obstacles, so does not get the -1 to hit. Siegfried has the higher initiative, so he's hitting with 4 attacks. Oh, only 1 hit. That is horrendously unlucky for him, but very lucky for Helmut. Because particularly as he's wielding a lance, meaning he's striking with +2 strength this turn only. That's a wound. Helmut doesn't get an armor save against that, it's too high strength, but he does have the Armor of Fortune, which gives him a 5+ ward save, which he fails, so he takes a wound. He does then strike back, he has an extra sword giving him an extra attack. 3 hits, but no wounds at all. Then Siegfried's horse gets a hit, but no wound. And then the knights, the horses, the halberdiers and the spearmen all strike at the same time. Oh, but there's Bruno. Bruno strikes next. Only 1 hit, and no wound. That's poor. I think I will do the halberdiers first and then everything attacking them. 28 halberdier attacks against the spearmen. Oh, actually, Bruno should have got a -1 to hit because he's attacking over the barrier. So his 1 hit would have missed, but either way he didn't wound, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to have 6 halberdiers attacking Bruno. Oh, they do get a +1 to hit. Oh, I forgot, they do. Helmut gets a +1 to hit as well. But that wouldn't have affected it, he missed by 2. But the +1 does mean that all 6 hit Bruno. 3 wounds, and they're also armor piercing, but he does still get a save. And fails all 3. Bruno is dead. He just gets cut down by halberds. Not even a challenge, he just gets killed. Which reduces the fortitude by a further 2. No, just the 1, sorry. No, General's worth 2, Battle Standard Bearer's just worth 1. God, it would have been game over just right there. And that leaves 22 against the rest of the spearmen. 7, 12 hits. That +1 to hit is really helping. 9 wounds. And with the armor piercing, that's no saves allowed. So just 9 dead. And then 4 halberds against the knights. 4 hits. 4 wounds. They still have a pretty good armor save. And fail 1, 3 dead. Nope, sorry, fail 1, 1 dead. I thought that the combined forces were definitely going to lose this when they lost 9 guys, but with the impact hits and everything, they only need to get 5 kills in order to break even. 30 attacks by my count, because the champion has 2, but they have a -1 to hit because they're attacking over the barrier. They charged. 4. Total of 9, that's poor. I mean, it's about average, but still. 5 wounds, though. Only 1 saved, 4 dead. Now this is where the real damage should be done. The knights. They all have lances as well. 10 knight attacks. 7 hits. This should really, really hurt. 5 wounds. No armor saves at all. And because they were simultaneous, although they're now gone, the 4 horses do still get to hit. 3 hits. 2 wounds. No saves. 2 dead. That was a devastating combat. 2 ranks. They get 3 ranks. And a banner on each side. No battle standard bearer anymore. So I think that is the conclusion. Oh, also they're disrupted as well. They don't get their rank because they're hit in the flank by a unit that has at least 1 rank. So they lose by 8. Now that is devastating. So they're testing on 3 dice because of hold your ground, but they need to get a double 1 to hold. which they don't get. So, uh-oh. Because you see, normally they'd have steadfast because they've got more ranks, but they're disrupted. Oh, actually, maybe they don't. Ah, no, they stay steadfast even when they're disrupted. So, are they steadfast? Yes, because this is a rank of 5, so they count as having 4 ranks compared to 3 and 2. So, no, they are steadfast. So they do actually, they keep their 9, which means they pass because they got a 5. Ooh. If they'd lost literally one more guy, they wouldn't have counted this extra rank, and therefore would not have been steadfast and would have broken. So from victory, the spearmen are going to reform. They now no longer have enough ranks to make use of being a horde, so they're just going to go back to being an ordinary unit. Actually, sorry, I just double-checked whether I can actually do that. One of the rules of combat reforms is you cannot get a model out of combat if it was in combat. So I cannot actually do that reform, because it would have removed like 5 models from combat, so they have to stay in combat. I cannot reform to shrink the unit. Wissenland Turn 3. This unit are going to charge, and they need to roll a 3 because they are just like a tiny bit out of range. And they actually fail. Wow, that is very embarrassing for them, that they can't even move 3 inches forward without failing to charge. Okay, these guys are going to reform, and I'm going to see if I can do a quick reform, which is because they have a musician, I can take a leadership test on a 7, and if I pass, which I don't, it doesn't matter. I could have moved, is the point. These archers are reforming, these handgunners are reforming, because suddenly this entire flank is no longer here for them to fight. There's a single unit which I can probably handle with the spearmen. So suddenly all of the fighting is going on all the way over here, and all of my units, which did a very good job, are now far, far away. But the plus side is the mortar will be able to fire, not that it can see anything. Also, there's a gap underneath this, which I've just noticed, which seems weird. Don't know why that's there. Okay, I managed to create a bigger gap. Hi, Gervig. Hi, Hagen. I feel like something's going wrong with magic. Shut up and die. Yeah, let me just fix this. Yeah, the issue is I, tucked the walls in. Oh, God, I've really messed up. Can I reverse this? Alright, that took me a while, but I managed to reverse time back to this point. I can't fix the floating building, I'm sorry. Right. Magic. 4. Back to low magic. Channeling Wissenland. Channeling Solland. No. I think it's got to be the enchanted blades of Iban. They were really, really helpful. Like, I think without them, this wouldn't have been anywhere near as devastating. So, all 4 dice on enchanted blades. And that is a phenomenally bad roll. That fails. Oh, no, it doesn't. It just succeeds because you add their level, and his level is 2, so that increases it to the 9, which is the minimum. So he's going to try and dispel it with 3, and easily dispels it. That just bats his hand and the spell is gone. Shooting. They have no one to shoot. They can't shoot. They might be able to shoot, because they reformed, so they do get a -1 for moving and shooting. No, never mind, they're out of range. Yeah, no one to shoot. Mortar. The mortar can't see anyone to shoot. Like, oh, maybe you could see those, but I don't know. Like, technically, yes, it can. So I guess that would be fine. Again, it is a mortar. No, it's drawing a direct line directly through, like, a model, basically. So no, I'm going to say it can't. Hellblaster, which has done nothing because I positioned it apparently very poorly. I thought, oh, if I position it here, it's going to have lanes of fire on both sides. But no, of course, it's been blocked by my own units the entire time. Cannon can't... Oh, no, the cannon can fire. Oh, can this one fire? No, this one can't fire at the Outriders, but the cannon can fire at the Outriders. Yes. First shot there. And then roll artillery for how much it overshoots. 10. Ah, that could be bad for them. Because 10 to there, so 10 inches further. And the cannon actually lands on the far side. So, like, cannons do have a certain amount of arcing to them. It doesn't make a lot of sense when that happens, when you aim close and somehow manage to shoot over, but that is how it works. So the cannon does nothing. And yeah, straight into this big combat again. They're still flanked, and the challenge is still ongoing. So Siegfried versus Helmut, but this time no lances. Siegfried does go first, though. 4 hits. Maybe Helmut's luck has run out. 2 wounds. His armor save is reduced to a 6 because of the high strength. Saves one of them, and instantly his luck stone activates. He can re-roll a failed armor save. So he will re-roll that one. Still fails it, but he does also have his 5+ ward save, which he passes. So he no longer has his luck stone. It was a one-use only thing, but he takes no wounds. He is still Helmut the Lucky. 4 attacks back at Siegfried. 3 hits. Only 1 wound. He doesn't have his armor piercing anymore, so Siegfried has quite a good armor save and saves it. Siegfried's horse fails. And the battlefield is a lot more balanced this time. They don't get their +1 because they don't have the Blades of Iban, and they don't get their -1 because they're no longer charging. But I will still do the halberdiers first. 28 attacks. 6. 11 total. 6 wounds. 1 save, 5 dead. And 3 halberdiers against the knights. Only 1 hit. No wound. And because they're striking at the same time, although they're dead, these 4 do still get to hit, meaning the spearmen have 31 attacks. 4. 8. 12 hits. 3 wounds, that's quite poor. 1 save, 2 dead. Oh yeah, I think I probably would have shuffled these over a bit. Like so. So that they're still... those 2 are still in combat, but all the knights can fight. They won, so they don't need to test for it, they could just do it. 10 knight attacks. Only 4 hits. 3 wounds, and because of the high strength, no armor saves, 3 more dead. And again, although a rank is gone, all 4 horses do get to hit. 3 hits. 2 wounds, but they do get saves. 2 fails, 2 more dead. Wow, the horse is... I always find it funny when the horses get kills. They get 2 ranks, they get 2 ranks, and banner on each side, musician on each side, so the attackers win by 3. And now they are no longer steadfast because they're down to a total of 3 ranks and a total of 3 ranks. So they are no longer outnumbering their opponents. So they do have to test on a -3. So they test on 3 because of helmets hold the line, but they're testing on 6, which they succeed because they get a 4. So they hold yet. Can they adjust again? No. The frontage is just too narrow, so they're going to have to stay there, and 2 of the knights aren't going to be able to fight. But we go into Solland Turn 4. They're going to charge, they're within the minimum, and they're going to charge as far over this way as they can to minimize the frontage and maximize their own, like to take away the massive number advantage of the horde and make advantage of their long, narrow unit. Does mean that Gervig's not going to be able to do anything there, but that's okay. Gervig is going to turn and move 4 inches this way. These guys are going to stay where they are because they can shoot. These ones, however, I don't believe they can. Yeah, they're out of range, so they are going to move. It's going to move them like 8 inches. No, I'm going to move them 7 inches and then rotate them 1. And they're going to shoot these guys as they try and march along the road. The Outriders are probably fine there. I mean, they're at long range, but they're going to have a lot of shots and their move or fire, so yeah, they're better off. Unless they should charge. No, I think they're better shooting. So they're going to stay where they are. I'm not actually going to bother rolling magic because there is literally no one Gervig can cast his spells on, so it would just be a waste of time. There are no spells that need dispelling, so we're just going to go into shooting, which I believe is just these crossbows. Oh no, and the Outriders. Yeah, no, I did just decide that. So yes, they're going to shoot at these archers through here. Because of long range and shooting skirmishers, they hit on only 6s. But any hits, the one hit is likely to be a kill. Yep, that's a kill. Because they have no armour to speak of. All the Outriders are going to shoot at the Great Cannon, which means they'll use the cannon's toughness instead of the crew. And I'll start with the champion. 3 hits, pretty good. And then the rest of the unit, 3, 5, total of 9 extra. Low chance of wounding, but that many hits. Oh, yeah, that's 2 wounds. No armor save, so 2 crew die. And then we have 2 combats to do. I always like to leave the generals until the last one. So let's do this one here. Ivo is going to challenge the champion, which will be accepted. Ivo's 3 attacks, 3 hits, 1 wound, not saved, champion's dead, doesn't even get to fight back. The rest of them strike at the same time. I will do the spearmen first. So because they're spears and they charged, they don't get their 3rd rank, so they're only hitting with 10. 5 hits, 4 wounds though, 2 saves, 2 dead. As they were charged, these guys do get to use their spearman rank and their horde rank, so they're actually fighting with all of these, which gives them 16. 3, 7 total, 4 wounds, no passes, 4 dead, 2 rank, 3 rank, and they get the banner because they don't have a banner. So they lose by 2, but they do actually have more ranks. So they are steadfast and are testing on a 7, which they pass. Just, but they pass. And the continuation of this big fight. First of all, Siegfried versus Helmut, round 3. Only 1 hit. That's pretty poor, Siegfried. Come on. Wound, though. So here's an armor save, which he fails. And he has a ward save, which he passes. Helmut the Lucky maintains his title and his, life. Helmut attacks back. 1 hit as well. No wound. It's quite likely that Siegfried and Helmut actually know each other. No, I suppose Helmut's still just a captain. He isn't a general, so he probably doesn't run in Siegfried's circles. But they're both, based in Wissenland. 26 halberdiers against the spearmen. 8. 14 hits. 6 wounds. 1 save, but 5 dead. And 2 halberdiers against the knights. 2 hits. 2 wounds. 2 saves. Including the 5 striking at the same time, that is 27 spearmen attacks. 9. 15 total. 10 wounds. Oh, this might be it. No saves at all. That is a massive chunk of this unit gone. Only 7 knights get to attack. Only 3 hits. 2 wounds. No saves. And then 3 horses. 1 hit. No wound. Banner on each side. Oh, moving that one over. 1 rank each. They lose. The halberdiers lose by 8. They are not steadfast. So they're testing on a double 1. They do get 3 dice because of hold the line. But they fail. Oh, they held on a very long time. But they did finally break. So first of all, they lose their standard, which means their army fortitude drops by 1. That's the first it's actually gone down at all this battle. And they flee. 6. They are pursued swift stride by the knights. Yeah, they are run down. And the other unit, 5. So first of all, anything within 6, that's Hagen, just Hagen, which means Helmut is run down. And the question is, they were run down by the knights, the question is whether they would show mercy, whether they would just scatter them. And I kind of think they would, because although the Knights of the Blazing Sun have thrown their lot in with Solland, they do recognise that they're doing this for a just cause. They're not doing this to destroy Wissenland or anything like that. They are just trying to re-establish Solland and the benefits that will come to them through that. But Siegfried knows that Wissenland will need generals and captains. He is a long-term player kind of guy, so I think he would let Helmut escape. He is still injured, but he would let him escape. And that reduces their fortitude by a further 2, which might actually break it. as these are technically just over 2,000 points, it would get rounded up to a 3,000 point battle as far as this is concerned, and therefore the breaking point would be 3, so that would be it. But I do see this as a 2,000 point battle with just like a little extra sprinkled on top, so I'm just going to count the fortitude breaking point as 2. So, like, they're down to 3, they're down to 4, but we're just going to keep playing until one is down to 2, just because, yeah. Like, they're barely over. Like, Solland literally is 70 points over the threshold, and it just doesn't seem right to just end it there. Hagen taking a panic test on 7, which he just passes. Wissenland Turn 4. So in order for Wissenland to take out 2 more, like, this unit is irrelevant to victory conditions. They need to make they need this one to flee, basically, because even if they get this one to flee, that's just 1. They need to break this unit in order to stand a chance of winning. The halberdiers are going to move 4 inches up, and I think they're probably within 8. Yeah, they are. So they're going to have to take a leadership test on 7 to try and march further, which they fail. So although there is a whole unit between them and the nearest enemy, they do not want to risk marching. Fine, so be it. Hagen, he is going to move 4 inches this way. He does not want to be charged. And then he's going to turn to face them because he is going to be casting some real nasty magic on the knights. And everybody else, I think, is going to stand. Yeah, they're not going to reform. These guys are going to move, actually. They're going to march so that they can move 4 inches across like so. Now we're going to see what the massed artillery of Nuln can do if it can actually fire freely. First magic phase. 8. Maybe we'll get some decent spells. Channeling Wissenland. Channeling Solland. Yes. He is going to upcast Searing Doom against the knights. This is the single best thing he can do to damage the knights. So it's a 20, so he's going to put all 6 dice into it and hope he does not explode. 21, he literally just manages it. And 6 dice to try and dispel. 17 fails to dispel. And he chose not to use his feedback scroll because he thought, nope, it's too damaging to let that go through. So Searing Doom does 2d6. 8. Oh, this is bad. 8 hits, wounding on a 2+ because of how high their armor is. Oh no. Still 3 fails, 5 wounds though. That is nasty. That is almost certainly going to trigger a panic. So that's 5. Yeah, that's over 25%. So he's going to test a panic. He does have hold... Oh no, he doesn't have hold the line, does he? No, he doesn't, because he's not a general. But they are testing on 9, which they just hold. Hang on. They didn't need to test, because Siegfried has Master of Battle, which means the unit is immune to psychology, and therefore automatically passes panic tests. They don't automatically pass break, but they pass panic. Oh yes, and from Victor... Oh no, never mind. They can't do that because they pursued. I should have restrained them and reformed them, but oh well. Shooting. There's a fair bit of shooting to be going on here, and it's all targeting the knights. Because if they can break the knights, which, I mean, they're not going to be able to break the knights, they're going to have to wipe them out. But if they can wipe out the knights, then it's gonna... That is going to win them the game. So the Hellblaster, I think, is going to go first because it's got Reinhardt, and this one has more targets it can shoot. And the Hellblaster is really, really fun. It is my favourite artillery in the Empire army because you roll 3 dice, and that is the number of shots that it fires in the turn. Okay, that's 20. If it had had any misfire, you see, that would have had cumulative bad effects, but as it is, it shoots 20 times. So it could just shred the knights. Because Reinhard Tannenbaum he's a master engineer, because he's within 3 inches, it can use his ballistic skill, which is only an improvement of 1, but it is an improvement. They're within half range, so yeah, this is 20 shots hitting on 3s. This is... I think they might just be dead. 7, 14. Yeah, this is really, really going to hurt. They're going to rely entirely on their armor for this, because that's 14 wounds. In fairness, they still have a 4+ armor save, but if even half of these kill, it could be game over. Half of them killed. That is literally everything apart from Siegfried. He's the only one left. So that's another standard. So if we were using the sort of the rules as written, that would be them broken, but you know, they already would have broken. He automatically passes the panic, so no problem there, but the shooting isn't done. Next is the cannon. He's going to shoot at Siegfried. And it goes 8 inches past, which I think is going to miss. Because that's, yeah. So 8 inches that way, that is a miss. So oh god, the cannon shot just smashes into this building between Hagen. Yeah, next to Hagen. Oof. Next, the mortar is going to fire, and this one's going to go for this. Because at this point, like, they've lost 3. So either panicking this or this will do the job. So he's going to aim it right there, maximum number of hits. Scatters that way 8 inches, that is off everything. So yeah, no hits with the mortar. And these archers, who I believe moved. Did they move or did they not move? I don't remember. I don't think they moved. Yeah, these were the only ones who moved. So the archers can shoot. This one can't see, so that is 8 shots. 5 hits. 2 wounds. Saved both. Huntsmen are out of range. So, combat. No one to challenge, so Ivo strikes first. 2 hits. No wounds. I'll do Ivo's spearman first. 16. 5. 9 hits. 3 wounds. 2 save, 1 dead. Because they're striking at the same time, even the dead guy gets to hit with, because they're hitting with all 4 ranks. 20 attacks. 3. 5. That is so far below average. 3 wounds. 1 save, 2 dead. Nice quick combat. They have 2 ranks. They have 2 ranks. They have a banner and the battle standard bearer, which means they win anyway. So the spearmen are testing on a 7. Well, sorry, on a 6, because they lost by 1. They flee, a total of 6, and are pursued, a total of 12. They are wiped out. So they move 12 this way. Was he? Yes, I would say he was probably within the 6 inches. I forgot to check. So he's testing on a 7. And fails. So he flees 7. Bloody good job. He flees from the closest one, which is now there. So he flees 7 inches this way. Well, that was a turnaround of a turn. I hope you agree with my ruling that the fortitude should count for like what the battle is actually at, and then this sort of the stuff is extra. Imagine if it had just ended then. It would have been, yeah, it would have been an odd battle. Whereas this feels a lot more logical and natural as we go into Solland Turn 5. I double checked and it seems all war machines are considered to have slow to fire, which means they can't stand and shoot, which makes it safe for Siegfried to charge. Yeah, basically. So he is going to charge the volley. See, there's a rule I always forget. Musicians give a +1 when attempting to rally. I didn't know that, so I have never used that. Not once. I'm going to try and swift reform with these spearmen, so they'll be testing on Siegfried's leadership of 9, and hopefully... Nope, they failed it. God damn. So, they're no swift reform, they just do a normal reform. Like so. So I guess they will not be moving down there to try and fight back in any way. Oh yeah, I need to test for Gervig. He fails, so he continues fleeing. 6 inches. He's just going to run straight through the middle of the battle. These guys, I really wish I could move them so that more of them could shoot the spearmen, because I believe only these 3 are actually going to be within the front arc to shoot, but it's not worth losing a turn of shooting for that. And they are just within range to shoot the halberdiers that are going to be coming through there. And these guys are probably going to shoot this again. Just working out if there's anything else to move, you see. So no. Magic. No magic because the only caster on my side is fleeing, so we will just go straight into shooting. And as I just decided, 6 crossbows are going to shoot at the spearmen. 1 is long range, 5 are not. Long range guy hits. Everyone else 2 hits, so 3 total. 3 wounds. They do get an armor save, which none of them pass. 3 dead. 7 of these are within range, including the champion, so they are going to shoot at the halberdiers through there. Champion, hit. Everyone else, no hits at all. 1 wound, and halberdiers don't get any armor, because of the high strength. All 10 outriders shooting at the great cannon, again at long range. Champion, 1, and then another 27 shots, 5. 4 more, total of 10. And I just need 1 6 among these, which I got, literally just 1, to kill off the last crew member. So the cannon can no longer fire, it is effectively dead. And then the only combat is Siegfried versus the Hellblaster volley gun crew. First of all, the 1 impact hit, no damage. And then Siegfried's 4 attacks, only 1 hit. Got a wound, and they have no armor. The remaining 2 crew get to fight back, and although Reinhard is here, he is not technically part of the volley gun unit or anything. He is just nearby, so he doesn't participate in the combat at all, I don't think. 1 hit, no wound. Siegfried wins by 2, so they are testing on a 5, which they fail. In the event of a war machine breaking, the crew is considered to just leave. So, the Hellblaster volley gun is, for all intents and purposes, destroyed. Wissenland Turn 5. Theoretically, they could get a charge if they rolled an 11. So, I think they're going to try, because, you know, there is no worse that could happen here. So they're going to try and charge it. 7. So they basically moved as far as they would have moved if they hadn't tried it at all, so no loss there. These spearmen are going to reform to face that way, and they're also going to take a slightly tighter formation, like so. The archers aren't going to move because he's within the front arc of all of them. The handgunners are going to rotate a bit because they're probably up next, and the huntsmen are going to move up 4 inches. Magic! 6. And the 1 channeling on their side? No. All 6 are going to go into an upcast Searing Doom on Siegfried. This could just kill him with his own armor. Oh, I believe that is exactly 20. Try and dispel with 4. No, they don't manage it. So, Searing Doom and upcast Searing Doom, which does 2d6 damage, 2d6 hits, a total of 4. He has a 2+ armor save. So, that is 3 wounds. That is enough to kill him if they all get through, but he does have a 4+ ward save because of his Armor of Destiny. And it saves 2. So it hang on. Sorry, I should have only rolled 3 there. It saves 1. So he takes 2 wounds as his own armor burns him horribly. But he does survive. Oh, he's been waiting for this. Basically, Hagen was brought along specifically to deal with the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Because, like, ordinary Empire things, there's really not much to worry about in terms of armor. Like, spearmen have higher armor. Like, halberdiers have a 6+. It's nothing. Whereas, like, archers have just no armor at all. Same with crossbows. Spearmen have a 5, and knights have a 2 or a 1+. So knights are why you bring metal mages against the Empire. And yeah, it has destroyed this unit. Shooting, we have Reinhard, who can actually shoot for once, because normally he has either been unable to see any targets or has been too busy helping with the war machine to actually fire his own weapon. So he is going to shoot Siegfried. 1 shot, 1 hit, 1 kill. He does still have a 3+ armor and saves it. Like, if that had hit, he would have aimed it non-lethally. He's not trying to kill Siegfried because, yeah, he doesn't want to kill the Grand Master of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, even if he is, like, rebelling right now. It's much better he stand trial. That's what Tannenbaum thinks. All 9 archers are shooting at Siegfried. They are just within the front arc, but only 4 of them are within short range. 1 hit, and 2 more, total of 3. 2 wounds. 1 saved, I accidentally rolled 1 to time. 1 fail. It's down to his ward save. He fails it! He gets brought down by an arrow. Siegfried is, at the very least, injured. Like, he's probably severely burned and he just gets brought down. He is right next to an engineer who could probably help him, but the important thing is that breaks the army. Because 1 standard, battle standard, another standard, and him. So that leaves them with a fortitude of 1, this guy here, which is under the 2 needed, and the battle is over. That looks so promising for Solland for a little bit. Like, this was a weird battle. This thing in the middle, and these being the way they were, meant that it was just like a big turning machine. You know, these ones smashed that side as hard as they could and broke through. These ones smashed this side as hard as they could and eventually broke through. They had a really hard time with this unit. And then it was like about to continue to spin round as these move around there and Siegfried move around there. But it was this. Hagen, who completed the battle. Actually, they're both they're both unscathed. He's terrified, but they're both unscathed. His magic just wiped out the untouchable... Oh no, it was the volley gun as well. The volley gun and his magic. Charging the volley gun, just like coming round here and being in full line of sight of this volley gun, and that was devastating. So let me know in the comments whether you think I should have stopped the battle here. I mean, at this point it sort of becomes almost favoritism, like, do you want Solland to win and we call the battle where, like, the rules say it should, or do you want Wissenland to win and call the battle where it sort of makes sense to? For the Solland forces, 137 went to battle, and 52 are leaving the field. Of course, there were others who fled and survived, but 52 are leaving in disgrace. And of the 194 from Wissenland, a whole 92 are going home victorious, though there again were others who survived. Solland, with dead or fled, scored a total of 842 points, plus 100 for defeating the general, and another 25 for one of the standards, giving them a total of 967 victory points. Wissenland scored with dead or fled 1,240 points, plus 100 for the general, 100 for the battle standard bearer, and 50 for 2 standards, giving them a total of 1,440. Due to the battle being 2,000 points, they needed 400 in order to get a solid victory, which they got. However, they also won the Blood or Glory Fortitude, which increased it by a further 1, so they effectively won a massacre. That is not what Solland needed, but we will see how that has affected the campaign when we come back round to that. Next is the Empire's other battle against the combined forces of Clan Deathtoll and Sylvania. So be sure to check that out, subscribe for more board games, card games, miniatures like this, and TTRPGs. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.